Update, brought to you by Simcox Advocates, advising businesses and families since 1949. Visit simcox.com or call 690 300. Manx Radio's Update with Andy Wint.
Faster my good evening, it's 5:30. This is Update for Thursday, 7th of September 2023 from Manx Radio. 30 minutes to look at the latest news on the Isle of Man. Background to that news and sport and business and Sea Watch and travel updates. And the newsmakers in person this evening. 2 years to get the Windfarm data. When will Cummal Mooar funds be available? There's been a spate of high-value bike thefts. Unions say nurses' offer is insulting, and the Ravens aren't happy about last night's defeat in St Helens. Here, at the home of the halfway horse tram.
Man Benham for all your business and legal needs.
First of all, at 29 minutes ahead of 6 o'clock, the Update News headlines. First to my Dave Moore.
Fast to my. The inquests into the deaths of two Manx Grand Prix competitors have opened at Douglas Courthouse. Gary Vines and Ian William Bainbridge were killed during this year's event. A former leading union representative says he's giving his backing to nurses as they prepare to take 3 days of industrial action. Bernard Moffat says he's not surprised they're striking as the government has its priorities wrong. Nitrous oxide, or laughing gas as it's commonly known, is said to be classed as an illegal substance in the Isle of Man, in line with the UK. The Department of Home Affairs has confirmed any schedules in the United Kingdom are replicated here. Elsewhere, a manhunt's continuing for a terror suspect who escaped from a South London jail yesterday by clinging to the underneath of a truck. UK airports have beefed up security and parts of the M20 in Kent are closed as officers try to track down Daniel Khalif. Police are to investigate cases of baby deaths and injury at an NHS trust in Nottinghamshire. Bereaved families have welcomed the move after years of campaigning. And a senior UK MP says some hospitals are having to take into account patients' weight because of worries the buildings will collapse. 7 sites in England have been found to be built from the same type of concrete that shuts schools. Those are the Update News headlines. The next bulletin is at 6.
Man Benham. Contact us by phone, video call, email or face-to-face. We're happy to connect with you. Manx Radio Weather with Manx Glass and Glazing.
Goramaya, thank you, Dave. From the Ronaldsway Met Office, no wind warning in operation for the North Irish Sea. State of sea is smooth or slight. The weather this evening, hazy sunshine and a light to moderate easterly. It's going to be dry overnight. Minimum temperature 17 Celsius. For Jehenya, dry with sunny spells tomorrow and a light southerly. Some coastal mist later in the day. Highest temperature 24 Celsius. Going to be dry after dark, down to 17 through the night. Into Jasan, dry with sunny intervals, a light breeze with coastal mist mainly in the south. And a daylight maximum on Saturday of 22 Celsius. Tide still on the way back in. It'll be turning at about 11 minutes before 6. Sunset 4 minutes before 8. Low tide tonight 9 minutes past midnight. High water tomorrow morning 14 minutes past 6. And sunrise at 22 minutes to 7.
Manx Glass and Glazing can supply and install single, double and triple glazing. Call 674 573 or visit the showroom on the Snugborough Trading Estate.
It could be as long as 2 years before Manx Utilities has enough data to choose a suitable location for our onshore wind farms. The story from Christian Jones.
A wind data device has been installed for 12 months at Eristane, which will collect information on wind speed and background noise before moving to Druidale. The consultancy firm Wardell Armstrong was asked to implement the sonic detection and ranging device, otherwise known as SODAR. Data collected will be compared to 10 years historical data to produce a wind resource study and will be used alongside other sources of information such as 30-year data from the numerical objective analysis of boundary layer, 12-month measured data from a study by MEA and 30-year data from the Ronaldsway Met Office. Average wind speeds are expected to be published in the first part of an environmental access report. Background noise data collection means the creation of an audible map of a location now and in comparison to the future. For those living nearby the unit, Wardell Armstrong has advised the MUA that the unit has less sound than a car and is the least intrusive recording equipment available to both humans and its surrounding wildlife. Manx Utilities announced plans to build an onshore wind farm in July, which could see up to 12 turbines generating more than 20 gigawatts of energy.
Manx Care needs to know when it's going to have the money available to replace Cummal Mooar before it can give details to residents over its future, so says Chief Executive Teresa Cope, who's been giving an update on the Ramsey Care Home at Manx Care's latest board meeting.
In conjunction with the Department of Health and Social Care, Manx Care have taken the decision to put on hold any plans to close Cummal Mooar. This is whilst we understand the position more fully around the proposed redevelopment of an alternative facility to Cummal Mooar and the availability of capital funding from Treasury to do that. Obviously, we had been honest with our staff about the position and the delays with achieving capital approval. We have now had meetings with staff members, residents of Cummal Mooar and their families to give them the assurance that over the pause, and I've committed to keep them updated as we understand more. It is really important that we understand from a Manx Care perspective how long it will be before we have a replacement facility and what the timelines and process looks like for securing that funding. As I say, the replacement of Cummal Mooar was identified and business cases go back to 2018. So it is a long-standing programme of work and requires significant capital investment, and it does require certainty.
This is the most listened to Isle of Man news source, and Manx Radio's Update is the Isle of Man's most downloaded news podcast.
Fast am I, 23 minutes before 6. Police say a number of high-value bikes have been reported stolen in recent weeks and are urging owners to ensure they avoid becoming the victim of crime. The constabulary is advising people to use locks, chains and electronic tags. From the Eastern Neighbourhood Policing Team, Louise Kenyuk.
Now, we do see them here and there throughout the year, but of late there's been some quite high-value e-bikes that have been stolen. And we want to put the message out to the public that whilst we will do all we can to locate them for them, shall we say, we do need them to take some basic security measures as well. It goes back to when I was a kid, which is a while ago, we had the simple locks, the chains. You can also get air tags now that link to your phone. There's loads of devices. We've got some really good bike shops locally on the islands, and also there's online, but obviously we try and keep it local. Get some advice from the bike shops, have a look, research online. Just take some real simple measures so that you know that your bikes are secure as they can be. If anyone's got any information, if someone's tried to offer them a bike and the deal seems too good to be true, if they see any bikes lying around, just let us know, because sometimes someone will take a bike just to get somewhere and then leave it somewhere else. And obviously we're keen to reunite the owners with them. Take security of your property and, like say, let us know and keep things safe. E-bikes are a very expensive commodity these days. Money is tight and all sort of things. We want to make sure that people are able to have these belongings, keep them safe, and prevent them being stolen by other people that may then sell them on to get money themselves. Just keep care of your property.
FC Isle of Man's manager says he and his side are angry and frustrated following a 3-1 defeat at Pilkington in the NWCFL Premier Division last night. Paul Jones gave his thoughts on a disappointing evening for the Ravens in St Helens.
The result is very disappointing. I think we've got undone by 3 or 4 moments that we've created ourselves, really, and they've got 3 or 4 very, very good players, but we were poor in critical moments. I thought the lads showed a lot of character and a lot of resilience to get back into the game in the first half. If Jack scores the penalty, then I think there's a different play maybe scenario that could play out in the second half. But we're getting back into the game in 2-1 as well. I thought we dominated the first 20-25 minutes of the second half as well, and then got caught on a bit of a sucker punch, which is just not good enough. And similarly with the third goal, it was just ourselves letting each other down, really. So then a 3-1, you're kind of looking at, can we get in the game? Well, we had some half chances, really, but you're also looking at protecting players a little bit and making sure that we get through the game, not conceding anymore. So we're really upset because we have demonstrated that we are better than that, and we just didn't string it together for all 95 minutes. And there's periods of the game that have been really costly for us. If Ben hadn't made a couple of really good saves early on, then we could have gone a goal down a little bit earlier. So yeah, very disappointing, very angry. We're all off, but we're also able to recognise there are some positives there. There are some things that we need to grab hold of and do more of, and that they'll beat a lot of teams on that pitch over the season, and we need to make sure that we're ready to play against Prestwich on Saturday.
Sea Watch with the Isle of Man Steam Packet Company.
Motor vessel Manxman left Heysham at 2:45. She'll be into Douglas just gone 6 o'clock onto the links bend fairly shortly after that. And this evening's departure 8:15. Ben McCree heads to Heysham, getting there just before midnight. The overnight departure 2:15 from Lancashire, back around 6 tomorrow morning. The fastcraft Manannan left Douglas at 14 minutes to 3. She's in the Mersey now, will be on the link span at about 6:10 or so, leaving at 7:15 back to Douglas at 11:15 tonight. Friday morning departures 7:15. Manannan heads to Liverpool, 8:45. Manxman heads to Heysham.
Follow the Steam Packet on Twitter for the latest sailing information.
The inquests into the deaths of 2 Manx Grand Prix competitors have opened at Douglas Courthouse. This report from Siobhan Fletcher.
Gary Vines and Ian William Bainbridge were killed during this year's event. At Douglas Courthouse today, Coroner of Inquest James Brooks confirmed investigations into both of their deaths are continuing. Mr Vines, who was 33 years old, died in the intensive care unit at Nobles Hospital on the 20th of August. The welder, who was from Colchester, suffered spinal, chest and lower limb injuries after crashing into the roadside barriers at Ballagurry. Mr Vines, who was a regular competitor at the MGP, was on his first lap of the first qualifying session of the 2023 race meeting. He had also competed in the TT, this year posting his fastest ever lap of the mountain course. Mr Bainbridge, who was 69 years old, died 2 days later on the 22nd of August after crashing at Wren Cullen. The retired HR manager, who was from County Durham, suffered head and neck injuries after impact with roadside structures. The incident happened during his first lap of the second qualifying session. He'd made his mountain course debut in 2005 and had been a regular competitor in the classic racing classes ever since, recording his best finish of 8th place in the 2010 Classic Senior. Passing his condolences to the families of both men, Coroner Brooks released their bodies so funeral arrangements can take place and adjourned the inquest to a date to be set.
Manx Radio Business Briefing.
At 17 minutes before 6, shares of Pets at Home and CVS Group tumbled today after the Competition and Markets Authority in the UK said it was launching a probe into the £2 billion veterinary services market for household pets. The competition watchdog said it'll explore how well the market's working for pet owners and whether they're receiving the information they need at the right time to get appropriate treatment for pets. And for a full daily market report, go to ramseycrookall.com. The auction for 7 UK offshore wind projects is set to flop, according to industry sources. The results will be announced tomorrow, but the number of bids will be close to zero or none at all, according to BBC sources. Offshore wind developers have said the price set by the UK government for the electricity they'll generate is too low to be viable. The UK government said it's committed to increasing the use of renewables. Energy firm SSC and Swedish outfit Vattenfall have already rolled themselves out of the bidding, saying the UK government's failed to allow for sharp rises in the cost of steel and labour when setting the electricity price. Industry sources have told the BBC that if big, experienced or well-financed companies can't make the sums work, it's unlikely anybody else can. Under the UK government wind power auction, the electricity price is fixed and bidders compete to come in or at or below. Well, we'll see what happens tomorrow.
The Stock Market Report, brought to you by Ramsey Crookall.
UK and European stock markets closed slightly low, with investors assessing US inflationary pressures and Eurozone data. The dollar gained and kept the euro and sterling pinned near their weakest levels in about 3 months. Oil eased and gold held steady. And the numbers now from Ramsey Crookall, reporting at the close in London, the FTSE 100 up 0.2% at 7,441. The DAX in Frankfurt down just over 0.1% at 15,718. today. A short time ago in New York City, the Dow Jones Industrial up 0.25% at 34,521. The Nasdaq Tech Stocks Index down 1% at 13,730. And in the Midwest, the S&P 500 down 0.33% at 4,451. In the exchange markets, the British pound sterling trading at $1 24.8 cents, €1 16.6 cents, and 23 South African rand 91.9 cents. In commodities, gold's up 0.2% at $1,920 per troy ounce, and a barrel of Brent crude down almost 0.2% at $90.42.
You've got an investment plan?
Yeah, Mike set it up.
But don't you need loads of money to do that?
Not this one. It's called Shearwater from Ramsey Crookall, and you pay in monthly as little as £100. So it's like saving regularly, really helping us invest in the future for a house or the kids' education.
£100 a month? I could easily do that.
You should. The sooner you start, the better.
Invest in your future with as little as £100 a month. Shearwater from Ramsey Crookall, the island's investment specialist for 75 years. Call 717171 or visit ramseycrookall.com. Licensed and regulated by the Isle of Man Financial Services Authority.
Recent pay offers made to Royal College of Nursing Union members have been insulting, so says Stephanie Dunn, the union's regional director, head of the industrial action planned for next week on the island.
We are actually in dispute for 22-23 pay. You know, most people's pay have been settled and they are looking at entering negotiations for 23-24. This is still outstanding, so we haven't even started to negotiate for the current year, and you know, we're not too far away for the year after. So our members are frustrated by the lack of willingness to sit with us and negotiate what they believe is fair pay, and it's not 15%. You know, at best they've had a 4% offer here, a non-consolidated offer that was then subsequently consolidated, and we just need the government to work with the employer, which is Manx Care, to ensure that there is sufficient money available for nurses to get a fair pay award that encompasses the last 3 years where we've been stuck and unable to agree. We've written numerous letters to the government and we've had no response. We are very, very keen to enter into meaningful negotiations. We don't want negotiations that is just aimed at delaying strike action and interrupting activity. It actually has to be meaningful with a real intention of meeting our members' requests in an open and transparent way. Just doing it for the sake of it as a delaying tactic is neither fair or based on integrity, and we would really want to work positively with the government to achieve, you know, a fair settlement for our members.
Update brought to you by Simcox Advocates, advising businesses and families since 1949. Visit simcox.com or call 690 300. Manx Radio Sport.
Faster my Rob Pritchard.
Faster my, good evening. Starting this evening with motorsport, and the dates for next year's Southern 100 road races have now been confirmed. Its promoters, the Southern 100 Club, have announced the event is scheduled to be held on the Balown course from the 8th to the 11th of July 2024. The organisation adds preparations for the event are now well underway. Road closures around the course on the first 3 days, the 8th to the 10th of July, are currently scheduled for 6:05pm to 9:40pm. The final day, the 11th of July, is currently down to have 2 sets of closures around the course during the day. First between 9:30am and 12:45pm, before opening for a short time and shutting again from 1:30pm to 4:45pm. Further details of the schedules on those days will be released in due course. In boxing, Manx boxer Jamie Devine is set to make his professional debut early next month. The former Manx ABC fighter will compete at Grand Central Hall in Liverpool on Friday the 6th of October. He'll appear in the same event as fellow Isle of Man athlete Matthew Rennie, who currently boasts an unbeaten pro record of 9 wins and 1 draw. Rennie had previously been due to fight in May this year in Blackpool, but was forced to withdraw due to injury at the time. Among his other commitments, Devine represented the Isle of Man during the 2022 Commonwealth Games in Birmingham, where he was only beaten on a split decision
driven by Abdul Wahib Amar of Ghana in the men's light welterweight competition round of 32. And in cycling, more good displays on day 5 of the 2023 Tour of Britain for Manx riders Matthew Bostock and Max Walker in Felixstowe this afternoon. Bostock had a strong finish for Bolton Equities Black Spoke, crossing the line in 12th, whilst Walker was not far behind himself for Trinity Racing in 46th in a busy final push to the finish. After today's competition, Walker's Trinity Racing outfit have dropped down 1 place to 3rd in the team standings, whilst Bostock's squad move up 1 place into 15th. Stage 6 of the Tour awaits tomorrow across a 146.2km ride from Southend-on-Sea to Harlow.
Manx Radio Travel, driven by Quayside Tyres and Service Centre.
Inbound at Ronaldsway, the 5:25 Loganair from Manchester has only just come in. Next inbound, the 10:08 Loganair from London City on time. The 5:08 Loganair from Liverpool, the returning patient transfer plane, is on time. And the 8:05 EasyJet from Manchester's on time. And fingers crossed, the 9:25 EasyJet from London Gatwick on time. Outbound tonight, 6 o'clock Loganair to Liverpool on time, the 8:35 EasyJet to Gatwick on time, and the 9:05 EasyJet to London Gatwick on time. Remember, the Newcastle Town Road is closed from 6:30 to midnight tonight from Spring Valley Roundabout to the Mount Murray Back Road for drainage maintenance ahead of the winter. Elsewhere, the Garth Road near Foxdale is closed between Foxdale Road and Tosselby Road. Temporary lights in St John's between Ballacrane and Bullock Bridge. In Kirkmichael, temporary lights on the main road through Kirkmichael. They're working on the road service. Temporary lights on West Quay Ramsey for emergency work on the harbour wall, and lights too on Richmond Road Ramsey for pavement work. The Ballagorn Road near Ballabeg's closed for ditching work, and in Peel, East Quay's closed between the House of Manannan and the road bridge. In Douglas, lights on the Victoria Road at the Falcon Cliff Terrace junction for water main work. Falcon Cliff Terrace is closed for this work. Hillside Avenue is closed in Douglas for adjacent office window replacement till the middle of June next year. And Mona Drive is closed in Douglas between Empire Drive and Victoria Road.
H&HMotorcycles.in for all your motorcycle requirements. Southgate Industrial Estate, opposite Quayside Tyres. Call 665646.
Residents in Port Erin have raised concerns about the apparent slow progress of transforming a derelict building in the south. Demolition of the former Marine Biological Station started last year, following its sale in 2018, with plans now to build 52 apartments, a 14-bed apart hotel, a restaurant and retail and exhibition space, as well as 160 parking spaces. Commissioners have previously said the development should be a great asset to the village. Here's what these women have to say.
It was nice when they had whatever it was before. If it doesn't do it, it'll be like that forever. Left derelict for so long and let the water in and it didn't bother, so what do you expect?
It'll look nice when it's up. The only thing is the rocks at the back, that they'll darken the place completely at the back, and they can collapse as well.
Summerland had all those rocks at the back as well, and that was wonderful.
It's lovely to look out over there, but it's not always the case in the winter. It's about time they did something with it. It is.
Got enough hotels. Don't think they should do anything here. I wouldn't stay in a hotel all the way up here. But look at them, we've got all those there, all built in the last 20 years.
Is constant.
Those are going to be for the people to live here, that want to live to keep their money safe. They're not just going to be holiday makers. I think there'll be a few people that will come will be absolutely millionaires, like the fella what's the name that built his house up there, the racing driver. They're building all these estates, but they're £500,000 for a house for young ones. They can't afford it.
Update brought to you by Simcox Advocates.
The new skate park in Laxey is having its official opening this weekend in partnership with 2 local groups. Commissioner Melanie Christian says they're looking for a name for it.
We're hoping for some imaginative and exciting names for the skate park. We did think we could just call it Laxey Skate Park, but we thought maybe something a bit more imaginative, maybe after a local person or something to do with the local area might be a bit more interesting to give it a name, really. So the Gal Skate people are running a little competition. If you look on social media, there's some information about that. We're just looking for lots of different ideas, really, to choose from. Online through the Facebook page, or they can drop ideas into the Commissioner's office. We'll happily take them right up until Saturday when we have the opening. As far as we know, there's a good forecast for Saturday, so the Laxey Duck Race is still going ahead with Laxey and London Heritage Trust, and we also have the grand opening of the skate park on Glen Road with Gal Skate supporting that. They're offering free lessons and spot prizes, and hopefully it'll be a good atmosphere in Laxey on Saturday. The skate park is actually open, but we are doing the official opening on Saturday and would like to invite people down from 11 o'clock onwards.
If you're an Update podcast listener, if you listen to this update as a podcast anywhere in the world, any time of day or night, thanks for making Update the Isle of Man's most subscribed to news podcast. A Manx Boxing Club will host its first ever fight show on Manx soil this weekend in Douglas. With more details explaining why these events are important for local competitors, New Horizon Boxing Club coach John Kane.
So New Horizon Boxing Club have got their first home show. It's an open show at the Palace Hotel in Douglas. We started in 2018. We started down at QE2 school. We ended up moving back into Douglas, and then we got the pandemic. The pandemic hit us, and it is quite hard because we lost probably two of our most experienced boxers. So that was a bit of a setback, and now we've moved twice now since QE2 school. So we're in Palace Road, which was the old gym for Manx ABC, where I was head coach at before. It just shows you how vibrant the boxing scene on the Isle of Man is, both with ourselves and the Manx ABC. And now they're putting a show on next month, so it's great. It's great opportunities, more opportunities for the young people in the Isle of Man who wish to participate in amateur boxing. Opportunities, that's what it's all about, isn't it? So giving everyone different opportunities, and it's the great thing about amateur boxing. On Saturday night we have free skills bouts. So free skills bouts are no decision contest, and the guys that are taking part are 13, 14-year-old. It's a baptism of fire without being too intense, really. So there's that kind of stuff, and we've got a few inexperienced new boxers, and we've got a few boxers who have got a little bit of experience. So it's across the board, really. We've got opportunities for everybody. There's about 280 people, and we could have sold more tickets, but it's not just boxing, it's everybody. I think with venue size in the Isle of Man, we're struggling to find a big enough venue.
That's it for Update Tonight, brought to you from the resources of Manx Radio's news department. Thanks to newsreader Dave Moore, producer Beth Espy. After the news at 6, the MAR Road to 130 with Mike Buttle. The Greatest Hits with Chris Kinley is at 6:30. A Little Light Music with Morris Powell at 9, and Dave Moore with After Hours at 10. And I'll be back Friday at 5:30.
WINT.